Seemingly out of nowhere, Spillage Village dropped the remix to their track Baptize with the Baptized remix. This remix features Deante Hitchcock, Hollywood JB, IDK, Erick the Architect, and Zombie Juice, both of whom are from Flatbush Zombies. The only official member of Spillage Village that's on this track is Hollywood JB as well as Johnny Venus because he's still on the chorus, but I think at this point everyone is technically an honorary member. But without further ado, let's go bar for bar and break down these lyrics. So we start off with Deante Hitchcock's verse. Welcome, come on, come all, it's the apocalypse, or get popped with this pocket rocket ship. This hust the transatlantic, the damage as deep as the agua is. Nah, this ain't my strap, this my partner shit. So he's starting off his verse and starting off the track with a welcome to the apocalypse. Which, I mean, it's appropriate to welcome people to the track because he's the first person on the track. But also, welcoming them to the apocalypse makes sense because Spillage Village, or Spilligion, if you haven't listened to the album, it has a lot of religious, spiritual, and kind of end of days sort of vibes to it. Hell, I mean, there's a track title, End of Days. So, the apocalypse isn't too far of a stretch. But this is less of a welcome and more of an invitation that you have to accept, otherwise you're going to get popped with this pocket rocket ship. And then with his next line, this cross the transatlantic, the damage deep as the agua is, it's in reference most likely to the slave trade, which was transatlantic. And that damage that has been done because of that is deep. And he's comparing it to the depths of the oceans, which, if you don't know, the ocean is really deep. Baby, where I stay, we all be sharing guns like Sasuke. Tell baby, I say to my miss, she call me God, she be trippin'. But I be trippin', cause I don't see enough God in me there to listen. Nah, it's different, but I'm still the same dude in some capacity. That is a Naruto reference that I'm not aware of because I didn't really watch Naruto. But apparently they just be sharing guns. Oh, Sharingan. I see what you did there. He could also just be saying like, yo, we were sharing guns in the spot. They have like this collective pile of guns maybe. But I think it's more of like, again, I don't know Naruto well, but Sharingan I think is just kind of passed down through the Uchiha tribe. Something like that. So they be sharing that trait. He then goes to say, tell baby I say to my miss, she call me God, but she be tripping. But I be tripping. To me what that means is like, you know how people say God is within you or you got to find God within yourself? It could be a play on that a little bit, like where he's like, yo, I don't see God in me, so I don't know what y'all on about. But it could also be kind of like with her calling him God, kind of an extension or like an excess, I guess. Because you know how some people call their significant others king or queen? It's kind of like an amplification of that. So maybe she sees him as a god, but he don't see it that way. Like he doesn't think of himself as a god, obviously. So please don't say my name in vain, cause dudes will blaspheme me. If the police shoot me down, burn this bitch to the ground. Fuck all that Martin Luther shit, these dudes emptying rounds. Martin Luther, martial law, we marching, looting, marshals letting off them caves. Blast for me. The way he says it sounds close enough to blasphemy. So if he is God, which technically you're not supposed to say that you are God because that's supposed to be blasphemous, so this is blasphemy. But he is also saying like, yo, even if you say my name in vain, like I got people that'll shoot for me. He's got people that'll ride for him. So let's get that straight. And then if the police shoot him down, burn this bitch to the ground. A very reasonable response because I swear to God, I hope we don't see any police officers shoot innocent people. Even if they're not innocent, shooting them is not necessarily the best course of action. He's basically saying, like, if the police are going to shoot me down, we're going to retaliate in a similar manner. Because the police are the ones that are supposed to be protecting you and serving, but if they are doing the exact opposite, well, someone's got to fix that. So fuck all that Martin Luther shit. Like, we're not doing that peaceful shit anymore. We're going to burn the shit to the ground. That's MLK Revolution top, pop it off. I got both eyes closed because I'm trying to see out this other one. Fee, fi, fo, tell Goliath I ain't stunning him. Nah, I see it bigger than him and bigger than me. I peeped, it's not so big at all. When you hit that water, you'll see. So the previous line Martin Luther, Marshall, Law we marchin', lootin', Marshall's letting off them K's, leads directly to that's MLK. And he's got both eyes closed because he's trying to see through this other one. So he's trying to see through his third eye. The third eye was supposed to be the more spiritual eye, and it allows you to see through all like the bullshit that's happening and just, kind of get through it. Fee fi fo, tell Goliath I ain't stunning him. Fee fi fo fum's kind of like an allusion to the giant from Jack and the Beanstalk, I believe it is. And Goliath is huge. He's a giant of sorts. But what he's doing is he's going up to Goliath and he's like, yo, shit's serious, basically. Like, he doesn't have to necessarily go up to him because he sees that it's bigger than both of them. But, he may be an ally. And then when you hit that water, you'll see, just kind of playing on the baptize, like when you baptize people, they go into that holy water. So when you are baptized, you will see all this. This will become clear to you. This goes into the next verse from Hollywood JB. Back against the wall, broke through it when I wrote this. Magnum opus, tore down all layers. Never looked up to rappers, only ball players, especially in a figurative sense. His back was against the wall, but he broke through the wall when he wrote this. So either something was stressing him, he was basically like his back was up against the wall. In this, I think what he's saying is like whatever he was dealing with, him writing this verse helped him break through it. Magnum opus, and this is your magnum opus. This is your like highest level. This is your basically your finest creation. This magnum opus is tearing down all the layers. So kind of breaking down, either like peeling him apart or just whatever he's talking about here. Averaged a decent percent in my stint off the bench. Imagine if I put my power forward for real. Really start dunking and shit. It's why I'm big on fundamentals now. I guess he played basketball for a little bit because he was off the bench for a minute. And, he averaged a solid shooting percentage. So, good for him. He just continues this basketball referencing with power forward and starting to dunk. And now he's big on fundamentals. The fundamentals can be, obviously for basketball in this sense, but really for everything. You can even be like fundamentals for religion if we're keeping on with this spillage and theming to it. See, I'm a quarry if the query exists. Do not poke holes in sugar-coated theories, they said. The world been nearing this end. Why you out here fearing some me and with scary tactics? Fully draped in cheap fabrics, how pitiful. This world more than physical. Do not poke holes in sugar-coated theories, they said. So, sugar-coated theories are like things that people say in a nice way to kind of not scare people. So when you're poking holes in these theories, people are like, what the fuck are you doing? Don't do that. They can't know the truth. These theories that he's poking holes in is like leading to people realizing that the world is nearing its end. So continuing that apocalypse theming. Then goes into the chorus, which is from Johnny Venus and from the original songs. I'm a baptized, let's get baptized. I'm a baptized, let's get baptized. About to baptize, let's get baptized. I'm a baptized, let's get baptized. The baptize here is to open your eyes to what's happening around you and in the world. And because, some things are a little more sugar-coated, as Hollywood JB said. This then goes into IDK's verse. Riding in my X6, texting my ex bitch, telling her that I'm on my way to the next bitch. Conference call with Netflix. Should I go to HBO? Labels going public, get me on that IPO. IDK's been in his bag. Like this whole braggadocious bag. But he's in his X6, it's a nice car, texting his ex. And it's more of just to be like, hey, look what I'm doing now. See, I'm about to go fuck this other bitch. He's also doing all these business moves in the background that people might not be aware of. So him being on a call with Netflix and possibly HBO makes a lot of sense. I wouldn't be surprised if he does a show with either of them. He did the soundtrack, I believe, to a documentary for Showtime. So it's not too much of a stretch, for sure. Labels going public, let me get on that IPO. He's also very money driven, or he's very for financial literacy. putting your money into investments and places where your money will work for you rather than just kind of wasting money on things that lose you money. Obviously, he's still buying cars and chains and stuff, but that isn't where he's spending or spent like his initial money. Like, he bought land and building a house on it. So like he's putting money into investments. That's why he's like, yo, label's going public, get me on that IPO. Like, he wants to be on that when it comes out. Got acres up in Joshua, Michael Jordan endorsements, Reggie Ethan sending boxes up. I put those fuckers on and watch StockX stock go up. I made my chain in platinum and I still ain't even platinum yet. He's got acres up in Joshua. I think that's where he bought all that land. Michael Jordan endorsements, he's gotten, yeah, I mean, he's basically with Nike. So as an extension, Michael Jordan. Reggie Ethan sending boxes up. I put those fuckers on. I don't know who they are, but I feel like they might be his connect to Nike. Because, I mean, if you follow him, you see all the damn kicks he got. It's crazy. And he watched StockX stock going up. I mean, even if StockX isn't public, like, he sees these prices on shoes going up, like, as he's getting these shoes in, because either he's drawing attention to them and these shoes are like gaining popularity because of that, or he just has these shoes that are very popular and in high demand. Both are possible. You little boy to me, I kiss you on your forehead, then tell your bitch you planning on marrying, give me more head. How can I take advice from a dude that ain't getting no bread? How can I take a flight less than private? We in COVID. You're a little boy to him. He'll kiss you on the forehead. He doesn't think anything of you. Like, he thinks you're just a little child. Like, you know, when you see little kids, you're like, oh, that's cute, and like kiss them on the forehead and just keep pushing. And he's just going in on this person that's a little boy to him. And he's like, oh, that's cute. And then he goes up to this girl or the person that he's marrying, and he's like, hey, give me more head. Like, what? You just gonna take his girl from him like that? Enough said. Bloodshed, hide body, backyard, shut shed. Borrow money, weak letter, Debo. Now I'm like, what bread? Fuck Fred. Fuck Jen, fuck you, fuck them. Ain't got for no faking, pretending, and walking round acting, cause do we not friends. He said enough. There's gonna be bloodshed. He's gonna hide the body in the backyard and in the shed. That's honestly not even that well hidden, honestly, IDK. You might want to reconsider how you hide bodies. But hey, fuck it. I don't know who these people he's saying fuck to are. Like, who's Fred? Who's Jen? And yeah, he's like, I ain't got no time for faking or pretending or walking around you and acting because we're not friends. Like, he doesn't want to be associated with you. Like, what don't you get about it? This then goes back into the chorus, which is the same. And then Erick the Architect's verse. Kush and the ego, they said to pretend it's lit. The more that they misinform, the more irritated I get. I strike with a pad and pencil, invincible mistrals. What's on your mantle will wreck your mental by tenfold. Kush and the ego. Kush, like weed, and the ego. Sometimes when people smoke, their ego kind of dissipates a little bit. Or, you know, it amplifies and they're like, hey, it's lit. But also cushion the ego. Like, you gotta cushion it a little bit with Kush, maybe. The more that they misinform, the more irritated I get. That's fair. Because people just don't be knowing shit sometimes. And if it's something that you are well aware of, I mean, it sucks when they don't listen. And it's just annoying that people still think a certain way with whatever it is. He strikes with a pad and pencil. Like, the way he fights back is with his writtens. And what's on your mantle will rock your mental by tenfold. Sorry, rack. So basically what's on your mantle, like, mantle is like usually like above a fireplace, but it could be also thought of like your mantle, like your head. Like, so what's on your head, like in your head, will rack your mental, will rack your head. So stuff that's going on in your mind is just going to continue to run in amok in your mental by tenfold. The pinnacle prophet while they praying for the weak. Nothing's changing but the days when all the infantry is sheep. Black is instantly unique. You won't put us on that lease. And to breed imagination, all you gotta do is speak. So the pinnacle is like the top. So they profit from preying on the weak. Which, I mean, we should all be aware of by now, really. Like, that's kind of how it unfortunately is, and we got to change something about that. Nothing's changing except for the days when all the infantry is sheep. So saying the infantry is sheep means like these people that are fighting are just followers. Like they are sheep. They are not individual thinkers necessarily. So the infantry could also just be like people that aren't for the cause, like people who are fighting for the opposition, maybe. But that's the only thing that is changing. So the infantry is starting to realize what's happening because that is the thing that is changing. Black is instantly unique. You won't put us on that lease. So oftentimes in these creative spaces, but also I guess just in office settings, a lot of times people are like, oh, your thoughts are so unique. You yourself are just unique. Like they have this like almost false praise for black people sometimes. And, like, all right, cool. So you're going to keep, saying these things, but you won't put us on a lease. Like, black people have trouble finding housing sometimes because they're black. Like, it's fucked up. But they finicky. I get it now. Divine energy vibrating through surround sound. Sounding off, I evolve with my goddess. Unfettered, unpolished, split the rock like the rose. But they're finicky, I get it now. This is, again, kind of in reference to the previous two lines. So, them being finicky, meaning the people that he's trying to explain this to can be finicky. Like, they're picky about who they give these opportunities to, who they give these leases to. Like, if you don't fit their criteria, it ain't happening. The divine energy, which, again, is carrying on that spirituality, religious sort of theming, like this divine energy is kind of like flowing and it just vibrates through surround sound. And to me, that surround sound isn't necessarily literal surround sound, but it's coming like from within you. So it kind of feels like it's surrounding you. Sounding off, I evolve with my goddess. Him and his goddess are evolving together. And they're both just going to keep sounding off against really whatever issues they need to, or they feel like they need to. Unfettered, unpolished, split rock like the rose. The only thing I can think of with that is, like, you know how sometimes in the concrete you see like a flower come up out of it? That's kind of what it is. Like, even in situations where it shouldn't bloom, flowers do sometimes. So I think they're kind of, or he is trying to make like an analogy to himself and his goddess. Like they are like this rose that's going to bust through the cement. Pop rose when he got it. I done seen the brighter moments in the darkness. Now they moving heartless. Ain't easy using coffins. Try to fix the quota, but my people are moving targets. He's seen brighter moments in the darkness. Like he can see the light at the end of the tunnel. Or even in the darkness, there are glimmers of hope. But now they're moving heartless. It ain't easy using coffins. I mean, yeah, so these people that, or whatever he thought was the light, possibly, or like these glimmers of hope, have basically turned against them. And now they're moving heartless. So maybe the police, because with the next line they're trying to fix the quota, but my people moving targets. People, I honestly don't know if it's true, but like people say that police have a quota for certain things. Obviously not for killing people, but, well, I mean, shit. Hopefully not for killing people, but like it's more for like tickets and arrests and stuff. Again, speculation. I don't know for sure. So he's like, yo, my people are moving targets. Like black people are moving targets in that sense because the police are trying to meet a quota. So it seems like police often go into these neighborhoods where they're like, we can get these guys. And that kind of follows, like, because it follows up the ain't easy using coffin line. So yeah, like sometimes people, like these police will go into these areas and for some reason feel afraid. So the clearest option for them is to shoot. So it's kind of going on that. Like, the police feel safe now because they shot someone, but no one else feels safe. And coffins ain't easy to use. Like, people felt for the person that's dead. Like, it's shitty. Why the strongest soldiers gotta live through life the hardest. All out history watching in the Listerine. Seen the imagery through the eyes of Huey P. God bless my little G's, I christened thee. Try to feed a village with the spillage. Apostles, not imposters. There's ain't nothing you could sell us, boy. So the strongest soldiers that I feel like he's talking about here are people who, like family, basically. So people who have to see people die. Like, they have to live through life the hardest. Possibly. I mean, you have to remember, like, when these people are getting shot down by the police, like, their families are, like, traumatized. Like, they are some of the strongest soldiers, and they gotta live through life with this in their mind now. All out history watching in the Listerine. They're trying to wash away some of this history with Listerine, as if that's gonna stop it. And then he makes a reference to Spillage Village directly with try to feed a village with the spillage. But the spillage here is more of just kind of like whatever's left. This is what we're gonna feed the village with because that's all we got. Then goes into Zombie Juice's verse. Submerged physical came out, the water spiritual. Seen the light blink twice, just seen a miracle. They've been waiting for this, like Pop coming back. The 7-day theory, they immortalized the wrong dude. Submerged physical came out, the water spiritual. It's just in reference to Baptize again. Like, you are submerged in the water, your physical body is submerged, and you come out of the water spiritual. Supposedly. Because, I mean, this Baptize is different than, like, the typical Baptize. So, you're coming out of this water more spiritual, you've opened up your third eye, that sort of thing. They've been waiting for this, like, Pop coming back. Now that I'm reading it, it could also be Pac coming back. Like, they've been waiting for this. I mean, it could very well be like, yo, they're waiting for Pop Smoke to come back because he died very early in his career and suddenly, honestly. But it could also just be like, yo, people still waiting for Pac to come back. Like, the 7-day theory, again, like kind of talking about the Tupac album, 7-day theory. But they're immortalizing the wrong dudes. I think that's just like another person that he's talking about. Like, he's not necessarily talking about Pop Smoke or Tupac. He's talking about like, you guys are immortalizing people that don't necessarily deserve it, I guess. Something like that. Man, it's just scary. Wear my heart on my sleeve. Protect my all by any means. Gotta retain my energy. Fuck you thought. You wish that I would fall off? Nah. Rising like my planet's alignment. All my chakras, the climate is heavy. Yeah. So he's just saying like, yo, it's scary to think about. And I mean, it really is. Like, shit's scary outside right now. And I mean, it's always going to be like that. Or it's been like that for a while now. And he's got to protect him and everyone around him by any means. Like, he's got to retain his energy. He can't let that energy be taken away from him or from people around him. Like, that energy is what's keeping them moving. Fuck you thought you wish that I would fall off? Nah, rising like my planet's alignment. It's kind of like, you thought I would fall off? Nah, I'm rising. Like, instead of, like, the opposite of falling, he's rising. Rising like his planet's alignment. Maybe talking about astrology, possibly, because, like, you're a certain sign rising or whatever. Maybe. But he's also saying all his chakras are aligned, and the climate is heavy. So they kind of play into each other. The time is now. I'm trying to be happy, like for real. But every time I look up, someone is getting killed. That remind me of my son or myself. Can't understand how they feed off hate. He's trying to be happy right now. Like, the time is now for him to be happy. Like, he wants to be happy. But every time he looks up, somebody's getting killed. And that person that's getting killed reminds him of his son or even himself because, you know, he's talking about black people getting killed. Project the insecurities while they trying to be great. Greater than reason and fate. Show them success is sustainable, susceptible. Maintaining it. They only show you the glory, not the pain it took. So they're projecting their insecurities. Like, these people that are killing you, these people that are putting you down, these people that are just hating, they're projecting their own insecurities while you're trying to just be the best you and you're just trying to be great. Like, they're gonna find a reason to put you down and keep you down because they just be hating. Show them that success is sustainable, susceptible. So success is sustainable. So that could be like how some people might think, yo, you're not gonna get very far. How are you gonna, like, yeah, you might have a hit now, like people might be looking for you now, but is that gonna be sustainable? Like, bitch, yes. Like sometimes it is. And like whatever success that they're having is sustainable. I mean, obviously, like look, Flatbush Zombies is pretty successful. So when people have success, you don't necessarily see all the pain that it took, which is kind of what he's getting at here. Like they only show you the part where they're maintaining it and all the good things about it. But I mean, that's something that I think a lot of people should be aware of. Like people only really talk about their wins. They don't talk about all the losses and any sort of pain. And especially coming from someone who you would assume like would have like fit that criteria of someone that's like amazing and not have any issues at all. Like that's tough. Like damn, like you have to remember that these are real people. Like they still go through a lot of the same struggles that we do. So I really do like that inclusion there. I want to fly away, reach the sky, pray for better days. If I don't act now, those prayers will just fade. My intuition sharp, cutting through like a blade. My spider sense, I think we honeys from heaven. He wants to pray for better days, but if he doesn't act now, those prayers will just fade. Basically saying that, yes, you can pray for these things, but you also have to you have to put in some sort of work for it as well. Like you can't just sit back and be like, all right, well, I prayed, I don't have to worry about this. Like, nah, you kind of got to do it. You kind of got to put in some work as well. And then it goes back into the chorus from Johnny Venus, and then the song is over. I really enjoyed this remix. Like it does feel a little more disjointed than the original track. It really feels like they just had everyone, like they had sent out this verse to everyone, or everyone was like, hey, yo, let me get on this. Because I think last week, Deante Hitchcock dropped a freestyle to this song. So maybe that's where it came from. I'm not sure. Maybe that's like what triggered it. Who knows if this was actually just recorded in a week or if it was recorded over months. I don't know. Only they know. But I enjoyed it. It's interesting because everyone brought in a reference to Baptize, but in a different way. Personally, I think the person with the best wordplay on this track was Deante Hitchcock. Like his wordplay was so good. Like at the beginning, and it started off the track really solid. Both Zombie Juice and Erick the Architect did a good job as well. It was a little bit different and more in the realm of positivity, like not really positivity in the sense that like it's all happy, but like they're trying to push for something positive. And to do so, you have to acknowledge the negative things that are happening as well. IDK's verse was solid too, but I think it was a little bit different. I mean, I'm a huge IDK fan, but for me, this one was a little bit more just braggadocious. And I mean, it kind of fit it. It was a little bit different though. But yeah, this song was dope. I enjoyed it. I wonder if we're going to be getting an official release of it, like on streaming, because right now it's just on YouTube. At least I didn't see it on streaming at the time of recording. Definitely think Deante Hitchcock had the best verse though. And I mean, if you want to hear more from him, he's been doing his freestyles every Tuesday. So check that out. Those have been pretty dope. But yeah, the song was dope. I mean, I like the original for sure. I almost felt like if we had gotten it mixed in with the original, maybe it would sound a little bit better. But then we would have a 10-minute song, and I don't know how many people are here for that. So here we are. But that's all I've got for this track. Let me know in the comments below if I missed anything or misinterpreted anything, because that is entirely possible. And also, during the recording of this, my camera decided to overheat a bunch of times, so I might have lost my train of thought somewhere. Also, remember to like and subscribe if you want to see more content and breakdowns like this. Thank you for watching, and please stay safe out there.